Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and your health is in your own hands. Today, we're speaking with Nikki Burnett all about how functional medicine can help you overcome some of the limiting beliefs that are keeping you back from living your most vivacious life. So if you would like to have a better understanding of how to deactivate some of the plaguing physical and mental issues that are causing you to maybe not enjoy life as much as you should be, then, my friend, this episode is for you. All right, let's go.
Welcome to the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. If you're looking for actionable ways to stand out from the crowd by standing in your power, you've come to the right place. Each week, we help you and your fellow empire-building entrepreneurs become radically authentic and tap into your unique story to attract your ideal clients. Listen in and learn how to use energy alignment techniques and tried and true marketing strategies to transform from a leader to a legend. And now, your host, Powerhouse Story Brand Certified Guide, award-winning marketer, bioenergetic business coach, and Japanese whiskey lover, Alea Harris.
Nikki Burnett is a functional nutritionist and health detective. She is the founder of Taste Life Nutrition and the creator of Soulful Conception, purposeful living for a healthy body, a healthy pregnancy, and a healthy baby. With almost a decade of practical experience and over 25 years she does this, people. 25 years of dedicated study. Nikki has been a guide for clients facing chronic health challenges and those on the path of preconception planning. Nikki is unique, however, because her approach dives deep into uncovering the root causes of dysfunction, paving the way for a step-by-step, manageable, and strategic journey toward repair, balance, and vibrant health. Nikki's personal health struggles transformed her, igniting her mission to empower others on their health journeys. Hey there, Nikki. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I am doing great. I've already told the people a little bit about you, but please, darling, in your own words, give us a little bit about your story in, like 1 or 2 minutes.
1 or 2 minutes, my story. I have had my own health struggles, and then through my journey of learning myself, learning my body, learning the beauty of nutrition and lifestyle, and the amazingness of epigenetics, which maybe we can turn in, talk about here a little bit later, but how awesome it is and how much control we have over our health, over our life, over our futures. I mean, it's so much of it's in our hands. And if we take that power in and really grab hold of it, it helps us to live that optimal life. And so with all of that, I am a functional nutritionist. I love working with people to help them build that life that they want to move through the struggles, whatever they're feeling, that physical junk that they've got going on, help them to get rid of that, help them to plan for pregnancy, not pregnancy, but plan for it so we can create the health of the future. I'll stop there and we can go wherever you want to go with that. But that's kind of in a nutshell, that's me.
Well, we have to first cover vocab words. I don't like anybody else here to be like, I mean, this lady is cool, but I don't really understand what she does. The big vocab word you dropped was epigenetics. Yeah. Can we tell the people what the heck that means, please?
Yeah, this is it's a sort of a science in its infancy. We're learning so much, but it gives us this amazing amount of power. So so we know what genetics is. Genetics is, our size, right? How tall or short we are. It's the shape of our fingers, things like that. Epigenetics, though, are locations on genes that have the ability that are there to help create gene expression. And so what I mean by that is we can express genes by health and by illness. We can express genes by cardiovascular disease, by different thoughts that we have. And so what controls the epigenome is lifestyle. So it's food, it's thought patterns, it's our stress, it's our movement, it's too much, too little movement. It can be our sleep, it can be how we handle stress or stress in and of itself. So these things that so much of we have so much control over what we put into our mouth, how we think, what we put on our skin, what we put into our home environments. All of these things can control genetic expression and can create health, or they can create dis-ease.
So when you're creating health and when you're creating disease, most of the time people they're not super aware. So there's some blatant things, and I'm looking at you if you're listening to this on your drive with a McDonald's Egg McMuffin in your hand, or maybe you don't actually know who Jim is anymore. You have never been on a treadmill in your life, or Pilates sounds like a pasta dish to you. If that's you, then we already know we're doing wrong. And I'm not judging you. My food of choice for a good solid month while I was pregnant was the sausage egg McMuffin from McDonald's. If I did not have it every morning, somebody was going to pay. And I would do the poor man's version from Starbucks, but it was not the same. So I understand. I get it. But we all know that when we make those decisions, they're not the best decisions. But there's lots of decisions, you mentioned lifestyle, that we make that we don't necessarily know we're doing harm, causing disease, throwing ourselves out of alignment. So what are some of those things, and what are some of those clues that we've done those things that throw us off of our game, that negatively affect our epigenetics, and how do we then get back on track?
So I think one of the biggest things to really keep in mind, and it sounds simple, but it's not always that simple, is that the junk that we deal with, whether it's as simple as brain fog or anxiety or depression or knee pain or gut pain or heartburn, confusion,
I have pretty much all of those. Do keep talking.
Well, we need to talk more, but
definitely.
But all of these things really are our body talking to us. It's the body saying, hey, we got stuff going on. I can't do this on my own anymore. Because if you remember when you're younger, you don't have a lot of issues. You think you're invincible. You can't believe that mom and dad, are complaining about their heartburn or complaining about not being able to go run, whatever the case may be, right? Like, what? I can run all day long. So life changes. It throws us these curveballs, right? But taking it back to basics and understanding that the body's always talking to us. The body is never against us. There's this thought process that, something like autoimmune disease is the body, attacking itself and it's against you and, all these horrible things when the body.
That's what I've always heard. And then I internalize that as it's my fault.
Yes.
I'm a horrible person because somehow within me, I've been attacking myself. Please give us another way to think about this, Nikki.
Well, the body wants you to survive. The body, its main purpose and main goal is for you to live, right? And so why would it attack itself? So we have.
You know what? That's a really good question. And I asked you to give me another way to think about it, and you did. That is very true, because everything else that we go about, all of our other instincts are to keep us alive. While all of a sudden, would our body be like, psych,
yeah,
I won't do that no more.
Yeah.
I want to kill you and me. That's so... See, already, we in the first 6 minutes of this interview, and my life is changing. Do continue. Yes. I'm going to stop interrupting you. Do continue.
My goal, change lives. Yes. So, and we call things dysfunctional, where, there can be what we feel is dysfunction, but is it really the body is telling us, hey, we got something going on. We need to pay attention to it. Could it be from however we lived our life before? There are things that we don't know. So at this moment now, pay attention to what your body's saying. What is the symptom? And if you don't know what it is or why it is, start asking questions. That's the biggest thing. We go to a doctor to get a diagnosis, but we don't go any deeper than that. We don't say, okay, so I have whatever it is I have. Why? Why do I have it? And what is it that happened? What can I do from this point forward to turn that around? Because so often, I don't care how chronic and scary it is, so often the map is somewhere to start to turn it around. You might have to find help. All of us do. I need help with a whole lot of things. But we can find the answers to bring the body back to what they call homeostasis, right? But to know what it's supposed to do and to repair and to make you feel like you're supposed to feel.
I think that I want to rewind that, put a pin in it, because I know with illnesses and things that I've dealt with, and I've talked to other people, that they feel like just something that you've been diagnosed with and you have to do lifestyle management around to live with it for the rest of your life, because it's a diagnosis that the doctors, the allopathic physicians tell you is just there. You have to live with it, whether it's an autoimmune disease, whether it's heart disease, congestive heart failure, even. It's just something that you have to live with. They tell you whether it's going to shorten your life or not, and then you move on. And you try to I try at least not to become my disease, not have a disease become my identity, but then you still do have to manage through it. And what you are saying is, many diseases, I don't know if all or not, maybe you could tell us, at least many diseases do not have to be something that you just live with and deal with for the rest of your life.
Absolutely true. And one of the things that you said a minute ago, because it's very, very personal to me, is when someone tells you, and I hope everybody just listens to this, when someone tells you or even tries to tell you, you got to cut them off, how long you have to live. Nobody, I don't care what your situation is, nobody can tell you that, because it's all here. So much of it is here. And
and when she says here, everybody, she's pointing to her.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Not just on this podcast. I do not have the tree to life. If I did, this podcast would have a charge to it. I'm sorry. I gotta make that money. Do continue, Nikki.
But yes, I think it can be problematic to let someone else tell us this. And so anyway, I'll stop there. It's very personal and it makes me really upset when that happens. But we do often take on whatever our condition is or disease as an identity. And it can be overwhelming and take up so much of our lives trying to figure out the whys and the whats and what to do and what drugs to take or not to take or supplements to take and not to take and what to eat and not to eat. It can be difficult, and I get that. I've been there. But there is, that's why you go and you build your team of people who help you move through it. And your mind is so much of how you present in the world, including if you're struggling with whatever it is you're struggling with. And what we have to remember too is disease or dis-ease, it is so often a cluster of symptoms, and they happen to go with a name that we call it. But understanding the why is the key, because we have this cluster of symptoms. It didn't just show up just to show up. There's something else. Find out what that is, because what is it that triggered this? And so that's my ultimate goal in everything that I do, is continue asking why, teach my clients or anybody I come in contact with to continue asking why, dig for answers, never stop. And you tend to uncover the junk, right? That then you can get rid of and allow the body then to do its job. And the junk can be physical junk. It can be trauma, history of trauma. It can be generational history of trauma, stuff that you have no idea about. So much goes into the way that we approach life and the way that we live life, free of disease or with disease.
It's interesting because often when we own a disease as an identity, that then becomes a limiting belief, which keeps us from our own most healthy state. So can you talk to me, because I know that this is a very personal topic for you. Can you tell us a story of how you have held or currently hold any of those limiting beliefs that have prevented you or potentially any of your clients from getting to their most healthy state? And what are some of the tools that you've used to overcome them?
So many things go through my head. And when you say it's personal to me, and I don't know how relevant this is, because I just want to, my mom was told how long she had to live, and she took that to heart. And that's what happened.
I would consider that quite personal and relevant.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I think if I were to put it, in a business perspective, right? Because I know so much of that's what this is about. This is about business and how we can overcome these limiting beliefs. I'll tell you for personally a story that, we can all make bad decisions and you don't know sometimes when you're right in the middle of it. So with me, the business is growing, I'm doing well, things are going fine, COVID hits. So my thought is, okay, I'm going to take this time and I'm going to create something with it. And I did. I partnered with a great friend of mine who's a great brain-based chiropractor, and we spent 2 years building something that I thought was great. Right? It was this course, all of these things together. And it failed. Now it doesn't mean it will still fail. We have everything, but there are a lot of the pieces that weren't in place. And so I should not say it was a failure. It was a growing experience. That's what I truly believe life is. It helps us to grow. It helps us to learn and build character and makes us who we are meant to be. And that certainly was an experience. We have, during COVID, all of these people where I don't have anything to do. And what am I going to do? And I'm like, I'm working my ass off every day to make things better for me, for everybody who I come in contact with. So that did start to build more negativity, more fear. What if I make more wrong decisions? What if I can't come out of this? What's going to happen? And it has taken, I've always had coaching, but it's taken some mindset coaching and some people to help me kind of move through the fear. And I still work on myself and do my own things to help guide me through getting through the junk that's there. Because that's, it's maybe a little mini trauma, but this is my livelihood and I have a big fat goal with this livelihood and it has to continue.
It's interesting that you go and you've done the mindset work, and then we've talked about how the mind is as part of the lifestyle that activates some of those gene expressions that lead to greater disease. Can you give any specific mindset tools that you've used that really have made a difference, or one of your go-tos?
The things that I've been doing mostly, and this has been prior to this point, but I it's always a practice, but I'm getting better and better as I continue to learn, and it helps. But really, the meditation and the prayer time, I'm much better about taking the time to, read my daily devotionals. I get a little behind sometimes, but I do my Bible study. I do my prayer time. When it's sunny and beautiful outside, I go outside, I soak in the sun, I let it warm me. That's how I meditate. To me, it's God's hugs, right? It's this amazing feeling of having the sun warm you. And I would tell anybody who's listening, please don't fear the sun. The sun's amazing. But then I learned tapping, emotional freedom technique that I'll use. And I had someone teach me mind gems that are these. So there are several things that I can use periodically to help the mind calm, to get the stress, sort of calm the stress, balance the body, get ready if I have a big talk or a big, session or whatever the case may be that helps me. Yeah.
So that sounds like some great advice that you got that helps you stay in alignment and not avoid activating any more gene expressions for anything ridiculous. But what's some bad advice that you got? Like, what is some advice, whether it was for your mindset or your business, that you were just like, wow, if I could go back in a time machine and just cut that out of my story and start from that point all over again, I would do that?
Yeah. Building my own website.
Okay, that was not what I was expecting you to say. I don't, why? Because most people start off with building your own website. Why was that? And the way she said it, y'all can't see her face, but the way she said it was like, ugh. Like it was the worst. Keep in mind, this woman just went on a story about how she built something for 2 years and it failed, quote unquote. But building her own website was the thing that she mentioned. Go ahead, Nikki. Tell me why you said that.
Mostly because it's the learning, it's the understanding that you don't do what you're not good at and don't waste the time. So you can say that. I got rid of my own bookkeeping. I wasted time and money on trying to build my own, on trying to go the cheap route and let somebody else do it for me on, whatever, because I bootstrapped, right? I bootstrapped my business from the ground up and I just thought, well, I have to do it all. And really it's learning that you can't do it all, especially when you're not good at it, because it's a waste of time and money.
So one of the biggest questions most entrepreneurs, especially newbies, ask is, well, when do you start that process? Because most businesses are bootstrapped. I do encourage listeners to go out and look for funding, especially with community development, financial institutions, VC funds, angel funds. There's funding available, but I mean, that's another episode. But most people bootstrap. But then, so, okay, say you make $100 a week. You ain't paying somebody $100 a week to be a VA. So at what point in time did you start outsourcing and realize that you could actually get somebody else to do your website and you could actually get someone else to do your bookkeeping?
I was probably a year into the business when I realized that I was letting the bookkeeping fall. That was the first thing that I did was got rid of my own bookkeeping. I was trying to keep track of everything and it was making me angry. I don't want to do my job and be angry.
That would probably make you less effective. Yes.
Yeah. I want to, the goal, and I think the goal for most entrepreneurs, and this is the ultimate goal, because if we're entrepreneurs, we're always wearing a million hats. It's just part of it. But you start to realize the things that are really sucking the life and the energy out of you, but are important to maintaining a business. Bookkeeping is one of those things for me. And so I was not doing a good job and it was making me mad, and I was spending, so I found somebody who was, for at least for that piece of it, somewhat inexpensive to start getting the process going and getting some processes in place to help me. And then I've expanded from that point to have someone else in the accountants and that kind of thing. It was a little longer with the website thing just because I kept trying to find the inexpensive, and there were several different renditions. Finally, though, I came to a company who is now part of my team and has made just a significant improvement in the way that I feel about my company, the way that I feel about client, how clients see me, see the company. And they are part of my team because they help me to strategize. They help me to work through if I have questions. They make changes if changes need to be made. They are truly a part of my team, even though they're not, Taste Life Nutrition. So that's been huge for me.
I love it. And you do have a lovely website now. I'm lots of great conversion markers. So go you.
Thank you.
Go you. We're not doing it yourself. So what would you consider the most pivotal moment in your life, a moment of rebirth? And how did you manage the transition and what did you learn? How are you now better on the other side?
One of my favorite things is having the ability to look back and understand what I've learned, and it has brought me to where I am today. It's just a really fun lesson, because most of the stuff when we learn is hard stuff, right? We're learning from the hard stuff. We had, moved to Colorado. I had finally, it was 2009. So it was when, the world was crazy. Everything was kind of in the tank so finding jobs, housing, all that kind of stuff was pretty difficult. But we moved here. I found a job, and it was a good job. And, I've been in the medical world in some capacity for a really long time. And so I thought, okay, I finally found a place where I can call home, and was making some money again, the whole thing. And I was laid off. There's a whole group of us who were laid off. And I just was like, oh, come on. What is happening, And it wasn't.
I've been there twice. Yeah, I get it. It sucks.
It does suck. It does suck. But you're where you are because of it, right? It's
true story.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's a beautiful suck, right?
Yeah, there you go. That's a quotable moment, Nikki. It's a beautiful suck. There you go.
So I I had a new friend, and we were networking and talking. Actually, sorry, I'm backing up a little bit, because this was when I was in this job where my friend said, hey, I'm going to nutrition school. And my thought was, how freaking cool is that? I would never have the time. And I wanted to, and all I did, for just probably 10 years at the time, was study nutrition on my own. And I just loved it. And people would come to me, my friends, my family, that kind of thing. And so then I was laid off, and I, boohooed, with my dogs and my husband for a week or so. And then it just dawned on me. It's like, going to school. I got to do it. I got to go to school. It was draining. It was sucking the life out of me to look for the corporate job again. And I just thought, is this really what I want to do?
Oh my God. I did the exact, that's how I ended up in culinary school. I did the exact same thing. Yep. And I feel like it wasn't, I think I started maybe in 2010. I have to go and look at my own LinkedIn and see when I started. But it was around that similar time period. Then look at you now.
Yeah. Well, and that was the pivotal moment. It's the hard stuff. And then realizing I'm going to go to school, not really knowing what I'm going to do with it. It's one of those things. It was that people ask me how I got into doing what I'm doing. And I literally always say God, because I didn't know that that's what I was supposed to do, but it was a pull. It was, this is my direction. This is where I have to be. And so that's what I did.
It's funny because in the front of your mind, you were saying, oh, I wanted this job. This is great. It's corporate. It's not exactly what I want to do, but yay, security. And in the back of mind, you're saying, I want to do nutrition, but I don't have time. And right now in this moment, because I'm full transparency, I'm a little sleepy. Ruby Coral did not sleep well last night. And if she did not sleep well, no one slept well. So I can't remember who told me this, but they said that your angels listen to the prayers that happen in the back of your mind, not in the front.
I love that.
So in the back of your mind was that true prayer. But if you could right now, Nikki, in the front and in the back and in the middle of your mind, ask God for anything and know that you would get it with 100% certainty, what would you ask for?
I am so in love with the ability and the power that we have to create health. So with that, I have created what I call soulful conception, which is the preconception planning. And it's bringing all of it together in order to plan for all of the healthiness that we talked about earlier. Right. And so what it is, and what I literally pray for every day, is that the preconception planning or soulful conception is a movement, that there is a global awareness around our power in all of these things that are in our lifestyle that we have control over, right? That's as simple but as big as it is.
Well, I'm sending light for that. That would be amazing. I would love to participate. Let me take that back. I don't want no other baby right now. Ruby Coral is great. She's enough. But I'm going to participate as an ally. Not as a client or anyone. Stay away from me and my ovaries.
Yeah.
Oh, but I do wish that I think that a lot of people could benefit from that type of awareness. Nikki, why would someone choose you over your competition?
Oh, it's such a great question because, it's such an amazing movement, this whole functional nutrition, functional medicine, and, root cause medicine that we're moving, and then also bringing in genetics. But I would say because that's where we're moving, and because this is sort of the forefront of individualized nutrition, individualized health, even individualized, pharmaceuticals when the need is there. What's going to work for us? What's not going to work for us? These are really important, and it's so early, but we have these amazing tools to help us to know who I am at a really deep genetic level and what's going to help to move me forward and what my body needs. I would say that's probably what sets me apart is really bringing into my practice the epigenetic piece, individualization, digging for the root cause. And I'm not the only one, but it's a beautiful movement. But I'm also not just saying, hey, let's create a meal plan and move on, right?
Yeah, nobody wants that.
Yeah.
If anybody tells me I just need to drink a shake in the morning for breakfast, I'm over it. I'm over it. Thank you for sharing that. So now that people know why they should work with you over anybody else, tell them how to do that. Where can people find you?
I'm Taste Life Nutrition everywhere. The website is Taste Life Nutrition. The social media is all.
And she's saying taste, like the taste that you taste with your mouth. Taste Life Nutrition.
Yes.
To enunciate, just to make sure that you can find her and you can get your epigenetics on track. To continue, Nikki.
I know I do tend to slur my words. I have to be really careful about that, and I talk fast. But yes, Taste Life Nutrition everywhere. I do have on the website, I have an assessment that anyone can fill out, and I reach out and we chat about it. And if I can help, I help. If I have someone I can refer to, I have an amazing network of referral partners who are so good at what they do. Then I always love to refer out. So if anybody, if they're looking at autoimmune conditions, GI, I call it dysfunction, right? Is it dysfunction? So, but GI dysfunction, preconception planning, or if it's all of these, they can all sort of come all together, right? Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, Nikki, this has been a lovely interview. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. And I do hope that people reach out to you to help mitigate disease, live their best, most vibrant life. And maybe, if you're into that kind of thing, have some healthy babies.
Yes.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
I don't know about you, but it's not every day that I get a chance to feel more hopeful about my health and my physical and mental and emotional outlook. And that's what Nikki did here for me in this episode. She talked about how we do, in fact, through our lifestyle decisions, have control over our own health and our own outcomes. She talks about mindset techniques like tapping or EFT, as well as epigenetics and the power that we have to control the way our genes are expressed. I'm so grateful for this little dose of hope that we got here from Nikki. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like and subscribe to the Flourishing Entrepreneur podcast. I want to get more people reviewing because that's the only way I really know what you guys think. That would be a great way for me to decide on other guests that you want to see, on other topics that you want covered. And in fact, if you have some ideas of what would make your life better and you would like to get it out of my mouth and the mouth of a talented guest, send me an email. My email is aleya@aleyaharris.com, aleyaharris.com. And I really want to hear from you. Why do I want to hear from you? Because I take pride in the content on this podcast. I wanted to actually help you. So I can go off and my own tangent in one direction. It doesn't really help you. So send me an email. Tell me what you want to hear. Tell me some struggles you are dealing with so we can include that type of content and I can purposely go out and get those types of guests for you here on the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast. All right, until next time, my name is Aleya Harris. This is the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast, and I am wishing you all of the love, light, and abundance that exists. Man, lots and lots of it for you. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Aleya Harris. Vibing with what you hear? Leave a 5-star review to spread the love and be sure to click subscribe. We wish you love, light, and abundance. See you next time.